Miss Miller, Charlene, welcome in, welcome in. I am so excited to be live here on YouTube and on Clapper today to bring forward the lesson on the throat chakra. So we're going to give it a little bit of time, give some people some opportunity to come join the live, and then we'll get started talking about the throat chakra. On YouTube, when you put your comments in, I will do my best to answer them. Same thing on Clapper. If you put your comments in, I will do the best I can to answer those things for you. So I'm excited for the lesson today. Throat chakra. We're going to be talking about the throat chakra today. Very, very excited to get started with this. I do want to give it a few minutes just to let some people come into the room. Once we get a couple people in here, I'll go ahead and get started. I hope today is treating you well. I hope you have made today your day, friends. It's very exciting. It's rainy here in Illinois. It's kind of overcast, but at least it's not snow, right? Hello, Kelly. Welcome in. Hi, Morgan. Welcome in. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the Clapper community. Welcome to everybody on Clapper. I'm happy to see everybody and bring you in. Hello, Kelly. Good morning. Good morning. I guess it's afternoon. I'm so used to saying good morning every time I go live, so I'm trying to get out of that habit. If I'm looking back and forth, it's because I'm going between two different platforms for this lesson today. Please know I am not ignoring you. Hold your questions until the end of the lesson. I want to make sure that I get an opportunity to answer all the questions you may have about the throat chakra. I do create a whole lesson. Good afternoon. Ooh, Patricia, snow where you are. Ooh, I'm glad I don't have snow where I am. I'm done with winter. I'm such a summer person. I am such someone who feeds on the sun, and I miss the sun. I miss it. I miss it. So today we're going to be talking about the throat chakra. I'm very, very excited to bring this to you today. Once I get started, please remember that I do read a lesson, so I'm going to be looking down at things that I have written. At the end of the lesson, I will address any and all questions I can to bring it into, bring some understanding forward. The best part about this is we can ask the community. If I don't know, we will always ask the community to see if anyone in the community has any insight. It's melting the snow. Nice. You made it, Donna. You made it. I'm just going to plug my phone in real quick. There we go. You made it, Donna. I'm so glad you made it, friend. Welcome in. Welcome in. I'm excited. Today we are talking about the throat chakra in Professor Brown. We're going to talk about, I call it the spiciest chakra that you have, because spicy words get all up in there and it's easy to have them just sort of word vomit out of you when you're in a reactive state. I'm going to talk about the throat chakra, what it means, what the actions of it are, how to tell when it's in or out of balance, and what you can do for yourself to help get it back into balance if it's a little out of balance. Doing these lessons is one of my favorite things to do. I am a teacher by nature. I love teaching people. I do want to answer as many questions as possible, but I do ask that you hold them until the end. Hi, Janelle, welcome in. Hold your questions till the end. Write them down so you don't forget them, okay? I want to make sure I address your questions, but you got to write them down so you don't forget. If you put it up in the middle of the lesson, I will probably miss it because I'm going to be looking down to read this lesson. I want you to know I'm always going to answer your questions as best as I can. Whenever they are posted, I do the best I can to answer those questions. But today we're going to be talking about the root chakra. I'm going to go ahead and get started because I'm very excited to bring this lesson to you. This is Professor Brown breaks down the throat chakra, what I call the spiciest chakra in our system. Spiciest chakra in our system. Ooh, what a cute little emoji, Sally. I love it. I love it. All right, so when we talk about the throat chakra, this is the lesson I've created. Do me a favor, write down your questions so you don't forget them. I want to make sure I address them as much as possible once the lesson is over. So make sure you write down what you have a question about and I will get to it. Hey, Laura, welcome, Patricia. Welcome, Bodacious. Welcome in, welcome in. I'm so glad you guys are here right at the very beginning of the lesson. I'm excited, I'm excited. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to be looking down. I promise I'm not ignoring your comments. I just have to get through the lesson. I will squirrel out and lose my place. Spicy feelings, absolutely. I will squirrel out and lose my place if I look up to answer questions in the middle. So I'm going to try not to do that, but write down your questions so we can answer them as best as we can, especially as a collective coming together. All right, the Vijayharta. Okay, so first of all, let me just acknowledge that I can't pronounce some words correctly, no matter how much I try. So this is the Vishuddha, the Vishuddha chakra, commonly called the throat chakra in Hindu and Ayurvedic medicine, plays a vital role in spiritual and energetic understanding. It is associated with communication, self-expression, and the ability to speak honestly, friends, honestly, right? I've also found that the throat chakra is the bridge you build between the inner and outer realities. By sharing with the physical what you want for yourself, you allow that bridge to begin to construct itself, drawing the two separate pieces of you together in a harmonious way. Renowned spiritual teacher Ram Dass. For those of you who know me, know I consider Ram Dass to be my first spiritual teacher ever. He was already passed, he was already dead when I found his material, but it doesn't change the impact he had on my life. I learned how to meditate because of him. I learned how to calm my energy. I learned a lot from this man and his teachings. So he's someone that I definitely look to as a teacher for myself. Renowned spiritual teacher Ram Dass saw this chakra as connecting our internal thoughts and feelings with the outside world. The throat chakra is believed to be located in the neck and shoulder area, right around here, and is symbolized by light blue. Situated at the base of the neck, the throat chakra is connected to the color light blue and the element of ether. This chakra regulates the energy associated with authenticity, creativity, and understanding. The purpose of the throat chakra is to channel our authentic selves into the world, fostering personal growth and meaningful connections with others. The throat chakra is a conduit for the energy exchange between the inner self and the external environment, enabling us to express our emotions, ideas, and creativity. In Hindu and Ayurvedic traditions, the throat chakra is the center of purification and transformation. When balanced and open, promotes clear communication, authentic self-expression, and the ability to understand others. However, if blocked or unaligned, one may struggle with articulating thoughts, fear of speaking up, or feel the need to be dishonest with themselves and others. Ram Dass suggested that the throat chakra is crucial in bringing our spiritual journey with bridging our spiritual journey with earthly existence. It invites us to align our actions and words with our inner wisdom and higher purpose. When balanced, this chakra supports the integration of mind, body, and soul, helping us to find our voice and share our unique gifts with the world. Signs of an imbalanced throat chakra can manifest as physical symptoms like throat discomfort, voice issues, or neck pain. Moreover, struggles with effective communication and inability to express oneself honestly or a persistent fear of judgment may indicate a blockage in this energy center. So what are some signs to look for to tell if you have an imbalanced throat chakra? A lot of times you can already tell, hey, Kix, welcome in. A lot of times you can already tell when your throat chakra is unbalanced. You can feel it. It's that hesitation on speaking your truth. It's holding back on defending yourself. It's trying to make other people comfortable in the space while minimizing your own voice. All of those are things you can physically feel. But here's a list that I came up with based on my experience with clients, myself, and with some research that I've done. So some signs to look for to notice an imbalanced throat chakra. You find it hard to express your emotions in a healthy way. This can look like being reactive. Right, Bree. I don't know what the only way I could do that was if you had to something. So I don't know. The idea here is spicy words, being reactive to someone rather than responding to them. That will not serve you in any way, because once you're reactive to them, you make yourself a villain in their story. When you stay concentrated in your own truth and allow yourself to respond rather than react, you allow yourself to stay the hero in your own story instead of being the villain in somebody else's story. So this is why I always say it's really important to practice the pause, to pause before you react to somebody. Give yourself permission to actually think about what you want to say, and before you word vomit all over somebody, you want to say, is this really what I want to, is this really what I'm trying to communicate? Are these the actual words I'm trying to say, or am I just reactive to this person, right? You struggle to verbalize your thoughts. You feel nervous when trying to share your opinions, or you tend to push your opinions onto others aggressively. Two sides of the same coin, out of balance, understand? You work a lot with miscommunication in your relationships. You constantly feel ignored or misunderstood by others. You keep many secrets from others for fear of not being accepted. That's a big one. Lying by omission is still a lie, right? If you don't tell someone and you know you should be telling them, but you hold back, that's still a lie, even if it's just by omission. So keep that in mind. And is that really what you want to portray yourself as? You feel anxious in conversations. You are shy around others. And I also want to say that this overlaps with a lot of other chakras. It's not that one chakra is specific to any one activity, it's that certain activities are more related to certain chakras. But all chakras in some way can manifest similarly to each other, so keep that in mind. You find it hard to be your authentic self. That's a big one with the throat chakra. If you are not being authentically who you are and who you know yourself to be, where are you holding back and why are you doing that? Is it out of trying to keep someone else comfortable? Or is it because you're afraid to show who you really are? Like, really look into that. Why do you hold back on expressing your authentic self? You tend to be over opinionated, or you struggle to have a voice of your own. Code switching is a big one of that. 1111 in Arizona, I love it. Code switching is a big part of this. This is something I used to be really, really guilty of. Depending on who I was with, I would change my personality to suit them rather than being truly who I am. And that's just not good. That's not going to help anybody. And it contributes to the sense of not knowing who you really are, this code switching that a lot of us do. You almost feel paralyzed when doing public speaking. You find it difficult to be honest with yourself and others. Your actions go against your words. You have swollen lymph nodes in your neck. Your voice frequently cracks or sounds thin. You suffer from hypo or hyperthyroidism. You have ear problems such as premature hearing loss or infections. You develop regular sinus, throat, or upper respiratory infections. These are all signs of a potential blocked throat chakra. Once you remember your throat chakra is right here, it can be tiny like this, or it can be huge like this. All chakras look like two funnels, end to end, one coming out this side, one coming out the other side. They meet in the middle. So you can feel this, a blocked throat chakra. Physically, you can feel it in your throat, your shoulders, your neck, the lower head, throat, mouth. All these things are related to throat chakra, okay? When your throat chakra is clear, strong, and balanced, you will feel confident in expressing your thoughts and emotions with clarity and ease. You will be honest, open, and unafraid to communicate your truth, which will help establish respectful and authentic relationships with others. Your inner voice will become a trustworthy guide, giving you guidance you need to make crucial decisions and navigate life's challenges. Remember always to trust your intuition and speak your truth no matter the cost. There is nothing that is greater than speaking your truth. And if you are authentically not being who you are hiding yourself. There's no need to hide yourself. If someone in your space can't understand you or accept your journey, that is not your problem. I don't know how else I can say that. The more you try to convince someone to see you, the less likely they are to actually see you, right? The more likely they are to try to fit you into some little box. So I'm asking you now to really just express yourself authentically as best you can for as long as you can. Bashar, who's another one of my big teachers, he always says, follow your highest passion to the greatest of your ability for as long as possible. And when that's no longer serving you, move on and find your next passion. For all those people who say, I don't know what my passion is, so what that tells me about you is that you've put yourself on a shelf so long that you forgot who you were, right? So now's the time to look into that. The best way to find out who you really are is through creative self-expression. If you want to dress in medieval dresses, then freaking do it. And let other people stare. Let them stare. What is that going to do to you? Nothing. But you never know how being authentically who you are could maybe inspire someone around you. So I'm going to always ask you to really express who you really are and be honest with yourself. To harmonize the throat chakra, one can use various methods. These include meditation, breath work, and yoga postures like lion, plow, fish, cobra, and puppy pose. A lot of these are stretching this area. Puppy pose stretches this area, all those things, okay? These poses aim to release blocked energy in the neck and throat region. Speaking positive affirmations that encourage genuine expression and self-acceptance can also be helpful. Engaging in creative pursuits such as writing, singing, or art can help to open up and balance the flow of energy in this chakra. Additionally, practicing active listening and communicating truthfully and kindly are practical ways to maintain its balance. So I have a list here of 7 different things you can do to help work on your throat chakra to help get it back in balance. Number 1, use a mantra. So a lot of people like mantras. They're very helpful. I am an okay fan of mantras. I will tell you they don't work for me because I don't believe in lying to myself. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say something that I know in my heart is not true just to try to convince myself. That also only serves to split your energy, because law of attraction works on how you feel, not what you say. So if you're saying one thing and feeling another thing, you're pulling your energy apart. So I'm going to ask you to creatively and authentically express who you are through this space. But if using mantras works for you, I'm excited for you and I want you to do it. Just don't get too caught up in the idea of you have to convince yourself of something that you know is not true, right? You're not trying to convince yourself of anything. You're just trying to allow the truth to come forward. Mantras consist of sacred words or sounds that allow you to reach elevated states of consciousness. There are numerous ancient mantras available, including Om, Hum Sa, Om Mani Padre Hum, and I Am, among others. You can even develop your own mantra. Anybody can do this. Anybody can do this. Anybody can make up a mantra. It's personal to you. You don't have to have some guru give you a mantra. You can make up your own mantra, and that's okay. As long as it works for you, as long as you're saying something that you believe to be authentically true about you, A+ on that. And you don't need to share your mantra with anybody. Remember, the more opinions you ask for, the more opinions you're going to get. I'm just saying. So be mindful who you're asking for opinions. Number 2, eat foods known to stimulate that area of energy in the body. To support your throat chakra, consider adding these fruits and vegetables to your diet. Blueberries, blackberries, blue grapes, currants, kiwi fruit, apples, grapefruit, lemons, pears, plums, peaches, figs, and apricots. Incorporating these foods can help promote balance and well-being in your body as well as your throat chakra. Remember, what you focus on is what you're going to get your attention. What you focus on. I'm just talking about general mantras, not just for the root. You can say I am as a mantra and it doesn't matter if it's for the root or not. I am is a mantra associated with the root, but it doesn't have to be just used for the root. You can use it as an overall mantra also. So be careful about getting too into the idea of picking out someone else's definition of a mantra, okay? You want to use what works best for you. Number 3, sound healing. Using sound healing therapy can effectively purify the throat chakra. Various instruments like singing bowls, gongs, and tuning forks have direct impact on our cells due to the unique vibrations they emit. The frequency of 741 hertz is commonly connected to the throat chakra and is known to be highly effective in restoring and purifying this essential energy center. This frequency is believed to encourage self-expression, communication, and the release of negative emotions. By incorporating 741 hertz frequency into your self-care or meditation routine, sound healing practitioners claim that you can balance and activate your throat chakra, resulting in better communication and inner peace. So I use tuning forks in my energy sessions all the time. I have a whole set of chakra tuning forks. And if I'm working with someone's energy and it starts to feel kind of wobbly in that space, I will hit that tuning fork and hold it over the chakra that it's related to. Kind of reminds the chakra of the correct way to rotate, right? So if I see your chakra and it's rotating like a wobbly record, I will use my tuning fork to kind of remind it of the way that it needs to turn, of the appropriate way. I love that, Katie. I love that, Katie. You picked that for a reason. Look at this, confirmation all over the board. I freaking love it. Number 4, journaling. This is one of my favorite tools. Hi from Poland. This is one of my very favorite tools. Okay? Journaling. If you find it difficult to express your thoughts and emotions verbally, consider keeping a private journal. For many people who experience abuse in their childhoods, it's very difficult to fully express how they feel because they've been told not to do that or have been conditioned to learn that expression of self results in punishment of some form. Journaling is a way to say what you want and need to say without concern about how anyone else may react to it. It may be difficult at first, to be completely honest, but as you allow these thoughts to make their way out of your head, it will get easier to just let the words flow from you. Start it by making a habit to jot down your feelings every day, and don't worry about the grammar or the sentence structure. Just let your thoughts and emotions flow freely through your pen or keyboard. I will tell you, do your best. Lam, Vam, Ram, Yam, Ha. Yeah, right. In Hindu practices, right? But I'm talking about when I go back to these mantras, again, I'm just going to say there are certain mantras associated with certain chakras, but that doesn't mean you can only say that mantra when you're working on that particular chakra. The mantra I am, just to go back to that for a second, yes, is associated with the root, but that's not the only place it can help you. It's not the only thing that can help, right? One of my favorite mantras is Bashar's mantra he gave to everybody, which says, I am who I am, and that is enough. And that is the mantra I use all the time. That is the mantra I always say, okay? With journaling, I want to say, please be honest with yourself and don't judge yourself for what you write, right? Judging yourself for what you write is never going to be helpful, never. The reason you journal is to be honest in your writing, to write it down and put it out there without being concerned about, is someone going to read it? Is someone going to be upset? If you're afraid someone's going to read your journal, they have electronic journals that you can password protect all the time. Hi, Blossom. You can do that. You can write this down in a journal. You don't have to share it with anybody. You know, people get in their heads about journaling. It's not intended for anybody but you to read it. So don't be too in your head about who's going to read it. And stop judging yourself when you write it out there. You're just expressing it to get it out of the space, okay? Number 5, drink herbal teas. To help with the throat chakra, you may want to consider trying some herbal teas like peppermint, red clover, lemongrass, elderberry, or clove. You could even mix them together for added benefits. Meditate with crystals. Number 6, meditate with crystals. If you're looking to balance your throat chakra energy, consider using crystals as energetic totems. Some recommended crystals for this purpose include blue kyanite, laramire, tanzanite, azurite, aquamarine, and lapis lazuli. Keep in mind, blue is the color of the throat chakra. So using a light blue colored stone, a light blue colored shirt, all these things trigger that chakra to open up more. If you are feeling stuck in expressing yourself, one of my favorite things to do, quite frankly, is to paint with the colors associated with that chakra. So if I'm having a bad day, getting all stuck up in the teachings that I was given as a kid and my roots all inflamed, you know what I mean? I will get out a canvas and all the color reds that I can find, and I will just really paint with those colors to get that chakra to open up and allow some self-expression to come forward. You don't have to be painting with the purpose of creating a Rembrandt or doing it for anyone but you. You don't even have to keep it. You can throw it away. But sometimes putting pen to paper or putting paint on a canvas can really encourage that chakra to open up. Number 7, and this is my favorite, is catharsis. The act of releasing strong or repressed emotions to find relief is known as catharsis. I say this all the time. If you are having a big feeling, in the moment of having that feeling, it does not matter why you feel it. The fact that you are feeling it is what's important. So let yourself express it as best you can. Don't, word vomit all over somebody. Don't blow up at somebody that doesn't deserve it, but take yourself out of the space and just let yourself cry or be angry. It's okay to feel the way you feel. There's no wrong emotion. It's just emotions. Emotion is a dense form of feeling. In order to get it back out of your system, you have to activate it into an active form, which is feeling. You feel it, it bounces around, and then it will see itself out. Often what I find is clarity about that emotion that you just expressed comes through on the back end after you've let it go. I gotta tell you, Clapper is something else. but let it out. Don't get too caught up in, why do I feel this way? Grab it, choke hold it, and push it down. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You want to just allow yourself to feel it, and don't get upset if you don't understand why you feel the way you do. It's okay. It's okay, friends. You're allowed to feel the way you do. Let it out, and then the understanding typically comes on the back end of that. Okay? For some people, music serves as a cathartic outlet. To purify the throat chakra and release pent-up energy, catharsis can be an effective technique. When communication becomes difficult, stagnant energy can accumulate in our bodies. To alleviate this, you can try releasing frustration through laughter, screaming, crying, whatever it is. You could watch a humorous video or scream into a pillow for more intense blockages. If you feel like you have some sadness trapped in here and you just can't find a way to let it out, turn on a sad movie, turn on a sad song, turn on something that helps encourage you to cry, and then don't be upset at yourself for actually doing it, right? You're trying to allow the energy out of the space. So just let it out, and don't get so caught up in, why do I feel this way? It doesn't matter why you feel the way you feel when you feel it. Just feel it. Just let yourself feel it. Give yourself the grace to experience the emotion and let it out of your space. Not only does it help you feel better, does it give you clarity, but on the back end usually is how you understand. You can be really angry in the moment and feel like you don't understand why, but once you let it out of the space, that calm that comes after it, the calm after the storm, is most often where I find the clarity about what I was feeling. With regular practice, these techniques can help build your confidence in expressing yourself in a healthy way. Okay, sing, dance, move, energy. Yes, whatever it takes, whatever it takes. She's 100% right. Do whatever it takes to get that energy out of your space. If you are feeling some kind of way, there's a reason. You just don't need to understand it right now. A lot of the times, just feel it, let it out, say sayonara, see you later, and move on. Okay. To sum up, the throat chakra plays a crucial role in linking our inner self with the outside world by means of communication and self-expression. This energy center is deeply rooted in ancient spiritual practices as well as modern teachings, and serves as a pathway for our genuine nature and imaginative strength. By comprehending its importance, identifying its indications of disharmony, and incorporating techniques to balance it, we can improve our capacity to speak truthfully, establish profound connections with others, and realize our higher calling in life. Oop. I'm just going to tell you guys, the throat chakra, I don't know how you know I love to scream into the pillow. Thank you so much for what you do. I'm understanding what I have been feeling, and I didn't know what it was. I'm so glad I'm so glad, right? I'm so glad. I don't know what Jeremy's talking about. But listen, the throat chakra is one of those things that it takes work, right? We've all been taught, at least most of the people I know, the clients I work with, have been taught to hold their feelings in, especially men. Especially men, especially in the US, you've been all taught that you have to be the strong, silent provider, that you're not allowed to express frustration or sadness. Right? So be mindful of the idea that it's okay to feel the way you do. You have these feelings for a reason. It's not okay to put them down and pretend they aren't there. That's not going to help you or anyone else ever, right? So I'm going to encourage you to really express yourself through your chakras, through your throat chakra. Let it out as much as possible. Don't hold back on expressing how you feel, even if you can't say it in the moment. Hi, Michael. I see you coming in there. Taught to hold your tongue. Right, me too, right? So I grew up in an abusive household. I had a dad that was not interested in my feelings. He was not interested in anything I had to say. And so I learned to stay safe, to shut it all down, especially when I was in trouble, right? That feeling of someone's going to be mad at me would make me shut down completely and withdraw, because that was what I was taught as a survival mechanism as a kid. Lots of people have been taught that. Lots of people have grown up that way. But when you take control, and decide, I'm going to let this out of there, this is you getting out of victim mode. This is you deciding I am in control of my own life, right? It is not easy. It's not something that I can even say that I'm good at now. I still work on it on a daily basis, but I'm actively working to make the changes I need to more fully express myself. This bridge that you build between your inner and outer worlds comes from the throat chakra. When you know what you want in your heart, you got to start speaking it and putting it out there. Born in the UK, stiff upper lip. Yep, absolutely. It's a cultural thing. Many cultures feel that way. In America, I mean, I can't speak to UK. I've never lived there, but I can tell you in America, a lot of times, a lot of us are told, just be quiet. Just go along with it. Just fit into the norm, right? Just why can't you make me more comfortable by holding your tongue, right? Something I'm going to tell you guys, every single person, if someone tells you you're too much for them, why would you ever make yourself less? Why? Don't do that. That's a disservice to you and to them. They're basically saying, I'm uncomfortable, so I need you to change so I can stay in my discomfort a little bit longer. Instead, if someone tells you you're too much for them, just like Elise Meyer said, you can kindly invite them to go find less. Go find less. I'm not going to tone down who I am to make you more comfortable in your uncomfortableness. You know what I'm saying? It's about being authentically who you are. Yeah, R May, me too. I'm a Gen X baby, so I totally get that. Be seen and not heard. Don't speak up. I'm just trying to get through it. A lot of us have been feeling that way. A lot of us were taught that way, but this is a time of unlearning that. This is a time of learning to speak your truth and build the reality you want. Instead of changing you to fit into the default reality around you, you want to change the reality around you to fit you and your authentic expression of self. The throat chakra is a big, big key to that. One thing I will tell you, stop asking for validation from everybody. I cannot tell you enough. Stop asking for validation from people, because nobody's going to be able to understand your journey like you are. And the more opinions you invite, the more opinions you're going to get. And everybody's got one, and not one of them is going to line up with what you think you know is true for you. It is perfectly true that all of us kind of get stuck in the idea of trying to make other people happy. That's how we were raised. Most of us, anyway, were raised to say, you got to make other people happy, you got to keep other people comfortable, all that sort of stuff. And that's just not how it works, friend. All that does is serve to make you small in your own space. And nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to be small in their own space. I'm inviting you to step into your power, to claim things back to you and make it your own, okay? Just make it your own. So that was the lesson on throat chakra. I'm happy to answer your questions about chakras, energy, whatever you have questions about. Hey, Jessica, welcome in. I'm so excited you made it. This will be in the replay on YouTube, just for everybody on Clapper and everybody here on YouTube. The whole lesson will be on replay on YouTube. If you have a question about the throat chakra, about energy, about any of that stuff, now's a good time. Put it down in the comments, and I will be happy to answer those as best I can. Hi, Relic. I'll be happy to answer those as best as I can. If I don't have the answer, I'm the first person to say, I don't know, and I'll look for a better answer for you. But what stone for financial success? So I'm not a crystal person. I don't know a lot about crystals. I was always taught the best way to choose a crystal is to go to a place that has a lot of them, like a crystal store. Set the intention in your mind. I'm looking for something, a tool to help me with financial success. Walk around the store and pick up whatever calls to you. Then look up what the crystal means, because then you're allowing your higher self to guide you, okay? Kelly says, as I've gotten older, I've gotten to the point that this is me. If you don't like what you see or hear, then walk away. That's true, but sometimes you have to be the one to walk away, right? Sometimes people are really insistent on trying to make you change to fit them, right? But again, like I said, it's not our job to make anybody else comfortable. It's not our job to make anybody else comfortable. People have to figure out how to live their own lives, right? What is the best way to handle those spicy feelings? It doesn't feel like I'm me sometimes. I get it. Who is that? That was Brandy. I get it, Brandy. So for me, when I feel those spicy words coming up, I have a practice that I've established in my own family. It's called the timeout, right? If I'm having a discussion or an argument with someone in my family and I start to feel like I'm getting reactive, I will say, I need a timeout. I need a timeout, and I will walk away. I give myself 5 minutes to collect my thoughts, to really think about what I'm saying. How is it that I want to portray myself to this person? Is this authentically who I am? And if I'm still feeling spicy, I will write it all out and then read it out loud to myself. And again, hearing yourself say the words sometimes can be very, very helpful. It just depends on you and what you're feeling. Jessica says, I'm having head stuff and heart palpitations, and it's fluctuating with the energy from the universe, trying to figure out my nose drip and such. Yeah, so that's not the only chakra that can be affected. It could also be third eye, right? I've noticed when people have blockages in their third eye, they get a lot of headaches and nose drippy stuff. It's not necessarily a blockage in that. It typically with the third eye, it comes from an expectation that you're holding on to that's unrealistic for you. Please remember that everybody's third eye manifests differently. Everybody's third eye is going to manifest and look differently for them. Okay, so just because I get images from my third eye doesn't mean anybody else will. So let go of your expectations. Stop trying to fit yourself into somebody else's description of what the third eye looks like. Look into that third eye and those beliefs that you hold about it. Do you believe that you have to be special to have a connection to that third eye? Because I'm going to tell you right now, everybody has a connection to it. What makes you special is the fact that you recognize that you have the connection. So by virtue of that, you're already special. So get out of your head about it. Why are you trying to be special when you're already special? I see 777 and 777 enter every day. What do you think this is? It's all started out with, okay, so Pixel Tail, I'm going to tell you. I have learned that when you go to Google and you said, what does angel number 777 mean? You're going to get 10,000 different answers from 10,000 different people, all from their point of view. Let yourself figure it out on your own. What I was told from my own spiritual teacher and from meditation is when you're seeing a lot of signs and synchronicities, it's a sign of being in alignment. It's like playing the hot and cold game with your guides. The more synchronicities and symbols you see, the more in alignment you are with your highest self. If you are going through a couple days where you're seeing none, it's a good tool to help you recognize, hold on a minute, what did I change? What did I stop doing? What am I not doing for myself? And go back to it. That's a great way to look at that. Don't get too caught up in what is the meaning of angel number 777, because I'm telling you right now, if you look it up, there's 10,000 different meanings, and they're all coming from different perspectives of people. So you got to be careful with that. Don't let someone else's interpretation of it sway what you know to be true for you. Instead, listen to your intuition. If you see 777 and think, ooh, that's a good idea, then you should do that. If you see 777 and think that's not a good idea, then don't do it. It's about learning to listen to your own intuition. Own intuition is the biggest thing. Hello from India. Welcome in. Welcome in. Jessica, all my chakras are being affected in one way or another. I don't want to be special, and usually negative comes with it. No, it's not about negative. Special, and that feeling that a lot of us start to feel like we have to be someone else's definition of what special is, that's what's going to hold you down. But allowing yourself to recognize and acknowledge your own uniqueness is a whole different story, and it's a game changer. You don't have to be like anybody else. You are uniquely you, and that's all that matters. So be very mindful that you are not trying to be someone else's definition of special. It's not about the mockery, you mean? Let them laugh. Do you know a lot of times people will laugh at you when they're seeing something that reflects to them? Like the idea of you being authentically who you are makes someone else uncomfortable and makes them make fun of you. But yet they're dressing the way all the magazines tell them, and they're doing things the way everybody else tells them to do. That tends to be what it is. Let them laugh. The best thing you can do is leave them alone. Just continue to live your own highest truth. Don't get caught up in what anybody else thinks about you. It's not their job to understand you, and it's not your job to convince them. I don't think your light brings forth demons. I think, so the thing with demons, I just don't, so Jessica, that's a tricky situation because I don't necessarily believe in demons. I believe in law of attraction, right? And I believe that if you think that your energy brings demons, then law of attraction has no choice but to reflect that to you. Law of attraction to me has proven itself over and over and over to be the strongest thing that brings forward anything in your energy. Just like a curse. If someone looks at you and says, you're cursed, and you go, oh my gosh, I'm cursed, then law of attraction has no choice but to show you reflections of being cursed. But if someone says to you, you're cursed, and you go, no, I'm good, law of attraction is not going to reflect that to you. When someone tells you you have a curse or anything like that, they are preying on your insecurities, and they're trying to get you to welcome that in, and you just don't have to do that. You really don't have to do that. Brooke says, for anxiety, meditate and send that anxiety extra energy through your root to the core of the earth. Yes, absolutely. Grounding yourself is very helpful for that. New Hampshire. Yeah, so I'm really tired today too. There's a lot of heavy energy coming in. A lot of X-class solar flares happened the other day, and I think yesterday too. So we should be getting a ton of energy. Thanks for the feedback. I have messaged someone's back years ago. They turned that day. My thumb mouse got really thick and painful. It's possible I got bad energy. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. So Michael, I wrote that. I write all my lessons. Oh, I'm sorry, Kearns. I write all my lessons myself. I do research and I incorporate information from multiple spiritual teachers and then put it all together into one lesson. All of these lessons that I'm doing, this Professor Brown series, I'm putting together in a spiritual reference book, hoping to get it out by the end of the year. So I write these lessons, but I incorporate stuff from a lot of people. Thank you, Ladybug. Hey, Nana. That's okay. You're good. You're good. Whose question did I miss? I said I missed somebody's question, but I don't see it. Experience shows me that though in my energy, it was shot in my chest at 3 and actually angel saved me. So I know something wants me here. Jessica, I'm going to tell you, the world is better because you're in it. I'm just going to tell you flat out, the world is better because you're in it. Your light contributes to the light, right? Those of us who are light workers, I want you to remember, light workers are called into the darkness because light doesn't work in the light. You know what I'm saying? By being in the darkness and letting your light shine, you are bringing illumination to those around you. But you don't have to give your light to anybody else. Just feed your own light and it will help to raise that for yourself. Yes, I don't think anybody's here. I'm going to tell you, Jessica, be careful with your thinking. I don't think anybody's here to put your light out. I really don't. But I do believe that there's lessons to be learned. And maybe that feeling that having what happened to you when you were younger brought you into greater awareness quicker. I mean, I don't know the reason for it. And I'm never going to say that I think that, I'm never going to say that being shot is a good thing, but I am going to say it's made you more aware of a lot of stuff. It's made you more conscious of your life force. It's made you more sure about yourself. I mean, maybe not sure about yourself, but about the reason you're here. So don't get too caught up in the idea that someone's coming to try to take it from you. I don't necessarily think that's true. I think that it can feel that way when a lot of bad things are happening, but we all have the choice. We all have the choice of deciding, did things happen to me or for me? Always have that choice. When you say something happened to you, you give your power away. That's like saying I had no control over anything. I'm just going to give it out there. Hey, admin, welcome in on Clapper over here. But when you make yourself a victim, you give your power away. Why would you ever want to do that? Don't give your power away to somebody else. Reclaim your power. Definitely reclaim your power. My chin and face are tingling. Is that I don't know, I didn't see. What is your spin on dreams from a loved one that says we have it all wrong about the other side? I don't know. Tingling on my chin and face, is that your throat chakra? It could be. It could be. Tingling on your chin and face could be throat chakra. A lot of times for me, when I have tingling in my mouth, it's usually especially if I'm working with someone, it's a representation of needing to say something that I'm holding back on. So yes, it can be your throat chakra, but even further into that, it could be a sign that you need to speak up about something. Distance healing without consent. I don't believe in providing any energy work without consent at all. I believe it's a privilege to have access to anybody's energy. It's a privilege for me to have access to anybody's energy, and I will never do it without permission. I know that some people practice that. It's not something I believe in. It's not something I would want for myself. If I don't want to give you permission to my energy, then I'm not going to allow it to happen. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say it. Is it possible to alleviate another person's pain by touching them and then I end up experiencing the pain instead? So that's interesting. So I don't know. I believe very strongly that healers don't necessarily heal you magically, so to speak. I believe that the role of a healer is to give you the tools to heal yourself. Every single person is perfectly capable of taking care of themselves. Every single person. Hey, Nana, over there on Clapper. Hi. Every single person can take care of their own healing. It's just sometimes we need the tools to do it. We need some illumination in our lives to show us we have those tools, right? Everybody can heal themselves. I do not believe it is the role of a healer to take away pain from somebody. I believe it's to illuminate the pain and bring it to the surface in a mindful way while providing support for that person to work on themselves. So Calm Blue Ocean, it will be in the replays on my YouTube channel and you'll be able to pull it up there. Everybody creates their own reality, Charlie. Everybody. You create your reality based on what you consume with your eyes, your ears, and your mouth. You create your reality. Everyone has an individual reality. There is a collective reality that we all agree on, but you can curate your own reality just like you curate your timeline on any app. You know what I'm saying? Just like you curate your timeline on any app, you can curate your reality by changing what you consume with your eyes, ears, and mouth, right? If you're listening to nothing but bad news and watching nothing but violence and then eating nothing but junk, you're putting a lot of bad stuff in your energy. That's going to reflect to you through law of attraction. It really is. Law of attraction is truly the strongest force I've come into contact with in the spiritual world, and it is very, very real. It is very real. So I love that, Jessica. Can you speak more on the big energies you will keep saying are coming in? Will they make us feel better? Okay. So I think it depends on you. When the energies come in, the way it was explained to me in meditation is where you feel the most physical resistance in your body is where you are either fighting letting go of something or fighting integrating something. So if you're having a lot of lower body symptoms, backache, lower backache, sore feet, sore legs, sore knees, that sort of thing, that typically is an indication of the root. What teaching are you holding on to that's no longer serving you? When we are receiving new energies and you're feeling it in there, what is it that's holding you back from moving forward on your journey? It's a lot of self-introspection. Shadow work is very, very helpful for that, to help you see where you're holding on to beliefs that are not serving you. You got snow yesterday, Jim? My goodness. The energy's coming in, so I believe, and so here's the way I look at it, right? The sun sends out CMEs. This registers in the Schumann along with lightning strikes on the earth. The Schumann resonance is a measurement of the electromagnetic activity in the ionosphere of the earth, what's bouncing around in the ionosphere. As vibrational beings, it stands to reason and is logical to me that if we are vibrational beings, then incoming frequencies would affect us in some way. Right? That seems logical to me. If you have one vibration, then another, when you put them together, they affect each other. What I'm doing with the Schumann resonance is giving you my intuitive interpretation of how it could be affecting us in the physical world and a physical life, right? So the idea here is if you're feeling a lot of resistance in certain areas, if you're having a lot of symptoms in certain areas, it's usually an indication to look more deeply into that area, okay? Pixel Tail, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't believe in demons. I don't believe in demons. I believe that there's lower vibrational energy. I believe that it comes from a buildup of collective energy, like the idea of a lot of war going on can build up a feeling of anxiety, stress, depression in the collective, and that all kind of gloms together because like attracts like, and it sort of becomes a big chunk, and then it can be all in the space, and it can feel like a demon because you feel like lots of bad things are happening. But again, I believe much stronger in law of attraction. I believe much more clearly in law of attraction than anything else. So while I understand that some people choose to believe in demons, I can't change that belief for you, but I don't, it's not part of my reality. It's not something I subscribe to. So I don't know that I can help you with that in particular. What do you think? Do you think there's true that no coincidence in life happen? Yes. I believe that there's no such thing as a coincidence. I believe in co-creation at its highest. I believe that everything is always working out for me even when I don't feel like it. I believe that even when things happen that don't feel good or don't feel like things I would prefer, that they still happen to teach me something or show me something that I can learn from. So yes, I agree with that, I guess. Any other questions that I can answer for you guys? Does life need to have a purpose? So here's the thing. People get caught up in what is my purpose in being here. From my understanding, your purpose in being here is to discover who you are. You're not here to save anybody but you. You're not here to change the world. You can't. You by yourself cannot change the world. In my understanding and the way I live my life is my purpose being here. Hello from Alaska. My purpose being here is to figure out who I am and to fully come into my own power. I'm not here to save anybody but me. I'm not here to fix anything but me, because the only place I have any control is right here. Anything outside of you is out of your control. And the more you focus on it, the more out of control it's going to feel. Thank you for the gift over there on Clapper. Thank you. All right. Let's see. I can feel the energy between my hands when I center on it. Coincidence to me is a red flag on to pay closer attention to that, because it's deeper than the surface. Yeah, you can feel energy. You can put it together. I have no thyroid or parathyroid. No, I don't have a thyroid either. Just so you know, I have a scar right here because I had thyroid cancer. It's hard to see now, but I had thyroid cancer. My thyroid was taken out. But I will tell you, I grew up in a household that was very abusive, and it was very hard to express myself. So it did not surprise me that I got thyroid cancer, not even a little bit. Not having a thyroid is not going to make your chakra out of balance. Not expressing yourself authentically is what makes your chakra out of balance. Holding your tongue when you need to speak up, speaking up for yourself in defense of yourself. All of that is where it goes to, okay? There's no physical thing that's going to make it out of balance. The physical is the result of it being out of balance. Yeah, I had thyroid cancer too. This is a healer's triad necklace. This is a custom piece that was made for me by a guy named Jamai. I don't even know what the stones are, but I know the inner piece is copper. It's a conductor. So this is what I wear when I'm doing healing work. I wear it all the time. It's called a healer's triad. Thank you, Brooke. Thank you, Dominique. Did you find one energy healing modality better and more effective than others? So yes and no, Lizzie. That's a great question. I have for a long time, I'm a rule follower. Okay. So when I first went through my awakening, I started learning Reiki to try to get my own energy under control. Once I started learning Reiki, Lizzie, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. When I started doing things for myself and focusing on doing energy work on other people, I noticed that it wasn't just Reiki coming in. In Reiki classes, in traditional Reiki, they teach you certain hand positions, certain symbols that you should be using, stuff like that. As I started to work and do energy work on other people, I did not, it didn't stay Reiki. And for a while, I really struggled with that because I'm a rule follower, and you told me these are the rules. I'm going to try to follow that, right? But it no longer felt like that. Reiki has been very helpful for me. I'm an energetic channel, and that's worked very well for me. But I know a lot of people that traditional therapy in combination with music therapy, I mean, all the stuff can work. All of it can work. You got to do what works best for you. You really got to do what works best for you. Oh my gosh, Brandy, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you, friend. My goodness, thank you. Very unexpected. I appreciate it, though. What was my big turning point in life to look at life differently, and where did you get all the knowledge? Okay, so that's a great question, Pixel Tail. I am from the United States. So here's my backstory, just down and dirty on the backstory. I was a nurse for 25 years, and I was then teaching at a university in the medical field. I was teaching new doctors all kinds of skills. I worked with nothing but PhDs, MDs, all that sort of stuff. Have a lot of letters behind my name, right? So for 25 years, I did that. I was diagnosed with an illness called APS, antiphospholipid syndrome, which causes clotting and can ultimately result in death. At one point, I was diagnosed with this. For 2 years, I took medication blindly, listening to my doctors, because that was my training, was to listen to the doctors. So I was taking this medication for 2 years and noticed I wasn't feeling good. I was feeling really bad. My hair was falling out. There was a lot of stuff happening that made me feel like maybe the diagnosis was off. COVID happened. Right. And I got sent home from the university. It's hard to teach medical school online. Truthfully, it is. We all got sent home from work, and one day I was sitting at my desk and I was bored, and I'm like, you know what? I have access to one of the best medical libraries in the country. Thank you, Chrissy. Oh my gosh, look at you. I'm so excited you're here. I got sent home. So during COVID, I go into the medical library for the university I worked for, and I started researching my own disease. And I started looking at what are the criteria that are required to have this disease. And I noticed there was a specific test that I had not had, right? I got all my medical records as a nurse. I've trained, I know how to read these things. I got all my medical records, and I went back through all of my records and saw this test was not done. So me being me, I printed out all the literature, I took it into my specialist, and I said, hey, I don't know if I have this disease. I didn't have this test. Can you retest me? And I kid you not, my doctor looked me straight in the face and said, I'm the expert. You listen to me. No, I don't play that game. I train new doctors, and I know that doctors work for me. So I left that doctor's office and I started researching even more into the disease. I was still taking the medication at that point because I wanted to understand before I stopped it. And I actually found the email address for the physician who discovered the disease. He was still alive, still teaching in England. His name is Dr. Hughes. I emailed him with no expectation of him really getting back to me because I thought surely he's going to be way too busy. So I emailed him my test results and the treatment regimen I was on, and I said, I know you're not going to be able to tell me if you believe if this is the correct diagnosis or not. All I'm looking for from you is an indication of, if I were your daughter, would you be comfortable with this diagnosis, or would you suggest I get a second opinion? And he emailed me back and he said I would get a second opinion. That small 3-line email changed everything for me. I went and got retested by my primary care doctor, who is very understanding, and he called me the day after the test and said, stop the medication, you do not have this disease. And we have no idea how taking this medication when you don't have the disease can affect you long term. When that happened, because I had allowed myself to really wrap my whole diagnosis, my whole identity up in my diagnosis, it's like pulling the wool out from underneath me. I felt completely lost, and that was the beginning of my awakening. I actually went through like a week where I couldn't get out of bed, I couldn't function, I didn't know what was happening, I didn't understand, right? No, that's not true. Whoever said that about the physician's office, at least here in Illinois and with the doctors I was teaching. So anyway, after that week, I got into meditation. I found Ram Dass. I found a new doctor. I got off that medication, and I started to recognize that I didn't have this disease, but I had allowed myself to become a victim in the mind of being part of this disease. Through that, it sparked my awakening and changed everything. So a lot of my information, a lot of my understandings come from my background in medicine. I'm 25 years of a nurse. My degrees are in psychology, healthcare education, higher education, and medicine. I have a lot of letters after my name, so I draw from a lot of my scientific background, but I also incorporate a lot of the spiritual work that I've done, things I've regained in meditation, all that sort of stuff. I've really gained that through there. Brooke says, most people that I've talked to, their awakening has started with some sort of jolt like that. For me, it was, for me, who is my grandmother coming to me in a dream, telling me about COVID and the truth. That's good. Everybody does that. Everybody has a different awakening experience. It's not one better than the other. You know what I'm saying? They're all unique to you. I'm glad if it wasn't like one of those startling hot 2x4s to the forehead like mine was, because that was very disorienting, and it sent me immediately into a dark night of the soul, which will be a lesson we'll do at some point. But being in the dark night was really illuminating for me, because it was only in the darkness that I was willing to look for the light. So I had been very rooted in medicine, very rooted in science, and very rooted to the idea of I know best because I've seen the studies, right? But when those studies no longer supported what I was feeling, I could not discount my own experience. I stopped I stopped trying to talk myself out of the experience I was having, and allowed myself to really be like, okay, what's going on with me? And that's why I started learning Reiki, because I wanted to get my own energy under control. And as I got my own energy under control, it really helped me to understand more clearly what was going on. I'm not a doctor. I have a lot of advanced degrees in medicine and education, but I don't have an MD. Yeah, Kelly, thank you. Thank you. My job at the university was to teach new doctors how to be people. I worked with communication and minor skills like suturing and stuff like that. I taught a lot of new doctors, and one of my favorite things to say to all of these new doctors at the beginning of every semester, standing in front of this class of 60 new doctors, I would say something to the effect of, I hope one day you're an expert on something. I hope you know everything there is to know about some disease or some process that really lights your fire. But I want you to understand that you're never going to be an expert on your patient. Never. And if you would just talk to your patients, ask them, because as someone who suffers from chronic migraines, I can tell you how often I get them, what triggers them, what works on them, what doesn't work on them, the tests I've had, when I had it, what they said. You can save so much time and money just by listening to your patients. And to everyone out there who is a patient, I want to remind you, your doctor works for you, friend. Your doctor works for you. Do not be afraid to fire your doctor if they are not listening to you. Nurses are a huge resource. PAs, I will recommend someone to a PA over an MD any day. PAs tend to have more time for their patients. They tend to be more empathetic. MDs are trying to cram a lot of stuff into their minds. Primary care is one of those things where you learn a little bit about 1,000 things. Specialist is where you learn a lot about one thing. That's the difference between those. So getting a primary care doctor who's brave enough to say, you know what, I don't know enough about this to really help you, but I can refer you out, that is key. That is key. Key. I'm glad. It is good to hear from you. What would you happen to have a favorite subject of discussion? My favorite subject of discussion is energy and how it works in the body. That's my favorite thing. I'm an energy channel. I have a good understanding of energy, how it works in the body, and how to use law of attraction to your benefit. That's my personal, area of expertise. I don't know if there's ever an expert in spirituality because I'm constantly learning. That's the thing. I'm constantly learning. Doctors are wonderful if you have a doctor who's willing to listen to you. People tell me all the time they're afraid to go to a new doctor, right? People are tell me all the time, I don't want to go to a new doctor. They don't have a lot of client experience. Let me tell you something. New doctors have the most up-to-date and technologically advanced training that you are going to find. Do not be afraid of going to a new doctor just because they don't have a lot of patients or they're newly out of school. This is the people you're going to find with the most access to the most up-to-date information and training. Medicine changes, and people are not always, doctors are not always willing to welcome in new stuff. But I will tell you, in the last 5 years, the new doctors I was training, there were a lot of questions coming up like, hey, when is meditation appropriate? Or hey, when is acupuncture appropriate? When is this appropriate? Or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Shannon says, absolutely, I'm a CNA and med tech. Most patients don't realize they have a choice in their own healthcare. I'm always on a search for a newer doctor. Yes. You got fired from a doctor? Well, it happens. I truly believe that what makes a good doctor is being willing to listen to you, including you in your treatment plan. When they're talking about treatments, it should be a discussion, not a declaration. If they say, I think this treatment will work for you, you should be asking, what are the side effects? What happens if I don't take it? Is there an alternative? Is there a natural alternative? What is this? Ask questions. That is their job, is to give you this information. But if you don't ask for it, a lot of times they're not going to offer it because of time constraints. You know what I mean? Hey, Carrie, welcome in. Yes, dentist Miriam. Yes, you should be active. You should be active. I am married. You should be active in your treatment plan. It should be a discussion with your doctor, especially if you're scared, because going home with that fear is not going to help you, and it makes you less likely to follow through with the treatment plan. By sitting down with your doctor and saying, this is what I'm worried about. This is what I want to know about. These are all the different things. You've got to talk to your doctor. How do you come off the drugs you're taking? With your doctor. I can't give you medical advice. I'm never going to do that, but you can responsibly come off medication. Just include your doctor in the plan. Include your doctor in the plan. You know what I'm saying? Tell your doctor, especially with things treating depression, right? I believe in medical science. I do. But I also believe that we've gotten very complacent in America with the idea of throwing pills at someone, and because their symptoms are better, we're like, okay, they're better. But that doesn't always equal better. Just because your symptoms are better doesn't mean you fix the problem. If you are on medication for depression or anxiety, it can be very, very helpful It can be very, very helpful to help take those medications to lift you above the symptoms so you can work on the actual problem. But it's up to you to work on the problem. Incorporating traditional therapy, sound therapy, music therapy, all these things can be so helpful to you, finding a way to express yourself. Once you are working on the actual problem, then you want to responsibly work with your doctor to step down in a correct manner off of the medication. Yeah, you can do it. You can do it, Baja Girl. Abraham Hicks is wonderful. Abraham Hicks is wonderful. Healing the nervous system. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, you guys, any other questions I can answer for you before I let you go? I've been live for an hour. I'm trying to be responsible with everybody's time. Any last questions about the throat chakra or anything like that that I can answer for you before I let you go? I love Esther too. Esther Hicks I listen to every morning. She starts my day. I listen to her newest message every single morning because it helps put me in the right frame of mind. Do I take drugs? No. No, I don't. I take aspirin sometimes. Aspirin is acetylsalic acid. It's made from tree bark. It does a lot of wonderful things. You could actually go chew on the tree bark and it would do the same thing, but because I don't have one of those trees around, I can't. So I will take aspirin. I drink a lot of water. I eat healthy foods. I try to stay as high vibrational as possible. Yes, I'm glad. I'm glad that you stopped taking Xanax and that it was helpful for you. I'm really glad. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you guys so much for being here. I feel like my issues are that I'm bored. So, Baja Girl, you gotta find something to do. You just gotta find something to do. You know what I'm saying? Find something to do that feeds your time, no matter how small it is. Start making bracelets or painting or going for walks or going hiking or whatever it is. Do something. Do I believe in destiny? No. I think you make your own destiny. Thank you, Mike. Thank you for being here, Michael. I appreciate you always. The replay for this will be on YouTube. You can go back and find that replay at any time. I will see you guys next week. Have a wonderful day. Go forward. Make today your own, friends. Make today your own. Bye, guys. Thank you.